Hello and welcome to this week's tutorial about photo manipulation. We're going to start off at the basics this week. So first you'll need to open up this image. So if you go to File and Open and select your image and click Open, and then you'll need to open this one as well. Now I've just separated this off by clicking and dragging. So if you grab the tab at the top and click and drag, you can release it so that it's separate there. Now what we need to do first is get rid of all of this white area here. Now you can use this one here, the magic wand tool, which if you click and hold down on this tool here, you can select it and just get rid of the background. However, what you might find if we zoom in is that if you get rid of it, and then you might have a slightly jagged edge in places, although it doesn't look too bad, so we'll go with that. If you're using your own image, you might need to use something like the lasso tool. The lasso tool works based off clicks. So I'll just show you on this section here. So I'm using the polygonal lasso tool. However, if you've got a really good hand, you might use the freeform one at the top. I wouldn't suggest using the magnetic lasso tool, but if you want to, you can do. So this polygonal one, it just works off clicks. So if you click at a point, I'm going to click there, and then you can click every time you get to a new section. So as you can see, I'm just drawing around the outline here. And once you get to the beginning again, it should close up like that. So you'll end up with the kind of like ants walking around, something like that. This kind of wiggly line. So I'm just going to click delete to get rid of the background there. Now to get rid of the selection on any of the tools, so even if you use the magic wand tool, you click Control and D, or you can go to select. And deselect, which as you can see next to it there, it says Control and D anyway. So if I just zoom out again, so Control and minus to zoom out, you can see that we've got most of our tattoo image here cut out. So I'm going to pull this over to the image. So if you use this move tool over here on your toolbar, click and drag, and then you can just drop it onto the image there. So we don't need this anymore because we've got the image in here. Now I need to place this somewhere on her arm so that it looks quite natural. Now you might want to scale it down a little, rotate it slightly. So I'm going to click Control and T. I will scale it ever so slightly, so if you click Shift and just drag on the corner, and that stops it from, if I just undo that, if I don't click Shift, you can see that you can squash up your image and it'll look really rubbish. So hold down Shift, and I'm going to rotate it so that it's kind of going down her arm as if she's had it done straight on her arm, like that. And when you're happy with that, you just double click. Now at the moment it looks a little bit strange because it looks like an image just over the top there. So we do need to get rid of this outline. So make sure that you've got the top layer selected. And again, click the polygonal lasso tool. And if you click, I'm going to kind of follow this line of her arm here. So if you click just there, click around it. Because we're not selecting this layer, we are just working off the top layer. If you click delete, it will just get rid of the edge there. Now if you zoom in slightly, you can see it's quite a sharp line. If it's a little too sharp, you can change this feathering at the top here slightly. So I'm going to do that on this one because as you can see the shadow on her arm goes slightly darker, so we want it to fade in slightly. So if I put in 10 pixels, we'll try that first. Might not work, but we'll try it. Might look a little too faded. And I'm just going to cut out this section here. So as you can see, it kind of fades out on her arm there. I will take a little bit off this arm on that side just to get rid of that there as well. Control and D to deselect again, and as you can see it kind of looks like it's on her arm a little bit more so now. Now we're going to change the blending modes. We don't want that one. If you put overlay, kind of looks like it's on her skin, but you might want to go through until you get something that you're happy with. Something like that. Linear burn looks quite nice. Multiply looks quite good as well. Makes it look like it's part of her skin, and it's taken all of that white off there as well. Now you can use whatever one you like. You don't feel you have to use this tattoo here. You might want to just rub out bits ever so slightly as well. So I'm using this eraser here. And I'll just get rid of a few bits ever so slightly, maybe. A little less than that even. Just to make it look a little bit more authentic as part of her skin. So where the lighter patches are as well, you might want to just kind of take off a little bit. So that's it, that's the basics so far. And now we're going to go and put some makeup on here as well. I'm going to take the opacity down slightly of a tattoo so it looks a little bit more realistic, because the brighter it is the more it looks like a photo. So we just take down the opacity slightly as well, something like that, maybe even a little more. Let you play with that. We want it to look natural. And I'm going to create a new layer. So if you come down to this bottom right hand corner here, create a new layer, and we're going to select our brush tool. Now we don't want this great big brush tool because we're applying lipstick. We don't want it to look really thick and over the top. So we'll just take down till it's about the size of her lips there, something like that. Now I'm going to use this soft edge for now. In fact, actually no, use a hard edge for this. I think that's about right. So if you select the lip colour that you want to use, I'm going to use a bright red for this one. And just, it is going to look really strange. It's going to be quite hard to control as well because you're using a mouse at this point. At some point you might switch over to using a graphics tablet. Now as you can see, it looks ridiculous at the moment. So again, we need to go to these blending modes, and if you go to darken, that looks quite nice, but you can go through until you get to a good colour. Soft light works quite well as well. I think we'll go for darken. Okay, now obviously that looks a little bit all over the place at the moment. She looks like she can't apply lipstick very well anyway. So I'm going to go back to the eraser tool. I'm going to take the eraser tool right down. So we've got a small eraser. I'll just get rid of the edges there, tidy it up a little. So we get and we can always go back and add a bit more so that it works for her lips. So again, I'm going to go back to a brush. You just want a nice soft edge there as well. And again, take your brush size down so it's just at the top here. You can take your brush size down a little if you want to just do something like that. Now, it's quite prominent that. If you want to take the opacity down further, you can do. You get a nice kind of pinky colour. I'll go for something in between. Okay, so that's the first bit of makeup there then. I'm going to create another new layer. This time we're going to change the colour of her eyes. So if you zoom right in, Control and plus is zoom in. And then I'd like you to select this elliptical marquee tool. Now it's a little bit difficult to use this. If you hold it over the point, so if I show you on this one, the point where the eye kind of reaches the top there, kind of get it around about the same size, so something like that, and then you can use the arrows on your keypad to move it. Okay, so I'm gonna change it to green, I think. So we'll go for something not too drastically green. It's got to be kind of natural. And if you use this paint bucket tool, so I've just used this colour picker here to change, and then the paint bucket. If it's not selected, again, click and hold down so you can select it, and then just fill it in like that. If I click Control and D to deselect that, so we haven't got the ants walking around there. And if you duplicate that layer by clicking and dragging it down to this new layer here, and then just reposition this one over there as well. So again, it's looking rather strange at the moment, but if you go to, let's try multiply, overlay works quite nice there actually, so we'll do the same on this one, overlay. Now if you zoom in slightly, you could probably see that you've got a little bit of green at the top there, so we'll just go around that, making sure that you're highlighting the right layer, of course, because what you don't want to do is get rid of a face. Okay, let's zoom out. And again, it is quite prominent. It does look a little bit unnatural at the moment, so let's take this down ever so slightly. So this is the eye we're using here, and again on this one we'll take it down ever slightly as well. Check the percentage, so we're going for 29%. Okay. I'm going to add a little bit of blusher just to finish her off, and then we'll change her hair colour. So I'm going to go for a bit of a pink colour this time. Something like that. And again, create a new layer. We'll create a larger brush, so again change your brush size at the top there, and we'll just, it's a little bit hard this one, we probably want a softer brush this time, so let's undo that and we'll put something like that in. And again, it looks ridiculous at the moment, but we'll go to soft light. And if we just take the fill down ever so slightly, that looks pretty good. It looks quite natural. So at this point, I just want to change the hair colour. So we'll create another new layer, and we'll change it to kind of a reddish colour, dark red. And again, it's going to seem a little bit ridiculous at first using this, but just use a bigger brush to change the colour there. Okay, and you can spend a bit of time doing this better than I just have. Okay, so if you go to darken like that, and then we'll just go around the outside to tidy it up a little bit. Getting rid of some of these red areas around the edge there. And I don't think it matters too much if you show a little bit of a brown hair, because it does give the impression that she's got roots coming through, like she's got dyed hair. Okay, so as you can see, I've just deleted a little bit too much there, so I'll just add a little bit more in. Okay, and that's it. That's the end of the tutorial. You can see it's a very basic photo manipulation at this stage, but it gives you an idea of the types of things you can do. So just to show you the original, we'll just save this. And then if I open the original, there's your difference. So it's not too different, but it does look quite natural. Okay, thanks for listening.